further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you all to concentrate on the screen as we now give you SNOWPLUS.
We call it grey. You cannot say illegal. You know, I used to write term is grey. You know, it's no here, no there. You know, you can still vape, but there's certain things you can do, you can't do. But even though it's grey, the law is not well defined or not there. But the industry has been established pretty well. I think this is something that we are very proud as Malaysians. You know, and you know, if you go around the world, Malaysia is known to be one of the best e-juice producers, and some of the owners of the e-juice producers are also here. I won't mention names. After I miss some names, then you guys won't cooperate with me, so I won't mention any names. And also everywhere that you are. So in this uncertainty in the Malaysia e-cigarettes industry, I think SNOWPLUS as a brand, globally we are very, very big. We work very closely with the government authorities to make sure that the regulations to be out. I think this is important because one of the SNOWPLUS, why it was founded to actually introduce a safer options in smoking, and we want to do that. And with that only we can win in this e-cigarettes business in Malaysia, where the industry is regulated, so that the consumers have a safer products that is tested and, you know, meeting certain standards. The company, you know, began by making devices and also surface juice, as I mentioned earlier. And now this SNOWPLUS coffee edition, really a great option, as I mentioned earlier, you know, for people to taste and experience coffee. And this coffee is not just coffee flavor, it's pure coffee extract. You know, it's almost 300 milligram per pot in that pot. So I won't say much to lead us to where we are. Allow me to introduce our founder, head of global business, Mr. Dari.
Smokers around the world. We believe the mission that we've taken on will change lives of billions, and we will not stop until that dream comes true. We started with just a few friends, returned to Asia.
Ladies and gentlemen,
without consumers knowing how our brand looks like, without knowing what we stand for, it's very difficult for us to succeed. So in April this year, we also worked together with our distributors to open up the first SNOWPLUS store. Well, the SNOWPLUS that you see on the picture today is very different from the one that you see all around the venue. But because constantly we're improving how it looks, we are trying to fit ourselves better to consumers and what they want, right? So moving from what we had in April, a Chinese celebrity with 45 million followers in China that has endorsed our brand, used our product, and actually give very positive feedback. But of course, this does not only include the two of them. As you can see on the picture all the way on the right, we have a renowned kind of marketing agency that tracks the data. SNOWPLUS has been growing pretty aggressively over the last 3 months from June, July to August. Well, I'll get the updated numbers later. Well, while we believe that today we are launching e-coffee, you can see in China, we actually have quite a lot of products lined up, which is why we can penetrate into different channels, get to the right audience and whatnot. Well, this is just something like a Wild West whereby we sell nicotine products without a lack for the regulations and everything. But this is not the case. With China, we actually completed all the compliance, all the regulations to make sure that our products are fit and safe to put it into channels, which is why we can work with conglomerates like 7-Eleven, like Tesco, like Carrefour in China. Well, this part is regulation of e-cigarettes. As everyone knows, e-cigarette has in the recent years been a booming industry. There's a lot of uncertainty about what it stands for. There's a lot of uncertainty on where the government stands on this. So as a result of that, we have been doing a lot of regular communications with the government to make sure that we are aligned with what we're doing. And then I think one interesting thing that has happened as well, in Shenzhen, we have actually worked with the government. We have gotten a huge plot of land where we are going to be opening up our own R&D lab in our own building. Well, I think just to wrap up a little bit,
keynote special on their success throughout China, and of course, last but not least, Frank Wang. Let's give the panel a big round of applause. All right, so we're going to start, and I'm going to be the mediator.
Hi, nice to see you guys again. Obviously, Malaysia is we regard as one of the key markets. That's why SNOWPLUS Corporate decided to have an entity here. I think all of us know vaping in Malaysia is quite grey. The regulation, we do not have clarity of regulations on the vaping itself. But nevertheless, as you know today, SNOWPLUS is introducing the coffee edition, the non-nicotine, which is legal, okay? And from channel to market expansion, we are working very closely with convenience stores, petrol.
Any question from the floor?
Right, the government didn't say you not allowed to smoke nicotine devices inside, but in principle, vaping is still a smoking experiences. So it should also apply to e-cigarettes when come to not able to smoke indoor. It should be the same. Yeah.
Any other
We're
questions?
not the first to come up with non-nicotine, but we were the first to come out with coffee extract pot that have no nicotine. So the first one in the world to have coffee in the pot system, and it's not nicotine. So if you guys look at the devices that I give to you, there's two flavors, cappuccino and matcha. And as I mentioned earlier, our coffee is pure coffee extract. It's just not another flavoring ingredients that we use.
So which means there is caffeine in it.
Yes.
One question. Okay, vape is a substitute for smoking. Okay, smoking is not good for health. So some claim vape is better, but coffee. Nobody complain about coffee is bad for health. Why would I move from coffee to vaping coffee?
Okay. The SNOWPLUS Coffee Edition, we never position to replace a cup of coffee. You can't, right? You cannot replace. Okay. But if we give you an alternative, if you want to have coffee on the go, like now you want to have coffee, there's no coffee machines here, no coffee cup, so you can actually use this. So what we are saying is an alternative for you to continue to enjoy your coffee everywhere that you want to go.
A little bit from our experience in China. E-coffee is definitely not a cigarette. So a lot of the rules or the advertising laws applicable to cigarette are not applicable to coffee. But that being said, one of our core principles is to be compliant with local regulation. So we definitely consult with the local regulation and do what's legal.
Because we already open up. Before you open up, it's sealed. So it's stated there it's not for sale for 18 years and below. Even though we say there's no nicotine. But what we want is to promote healthy behavior, but not to kids, only to adults.
How do you going around to promote your product?
There's a lot of ways to promote the product from branding perspective. If you look at in today's world, you cannot avoid from digital marketing, social media. But as I mentioned earlier, SNOWPLUS want to be a responsible company and brand, and we also don't want to promote vaping to teens and kids. We are very careful about this. This is something that we take it seriously. So this is where from packaging itself and where we promote within the social media.
Southeast Asia? Yeah.
One more thing I would like to add is from our global account for Instagram, we add all the tags for only the adults. So that's a way to communicate with our audience. And for your question, how to make marketings with different audience in different market, we are still looking forward to the new ways to jump into the market, and we will make commitments to the local market. So we will find local new ways. You could look at that our launch event here is different from Chinese market. Yeah, that's a Malaysian style.
Yeah, so basically in Shenzhen we have invested a lot, about $2 million US to build our SNOWPLUS Wonder Lab. So what this lab do is we have purchased a bunch of really advanced machine and equipment to do our chemical analysis and development. So during the process, we'll make sure that none of the harmful ingredient was added by introduced by our suppliers, and also non-contamination and stuff was happening during the process of manufacturing. Yeah. So after that, so as Josh has mentioned, we have this collaboration with Guangming government, and we will have a land later next year. So we will be building our own R&D facility there, and we will have a bigger lab for people working for us, and we're just trying to make like quality and quality and safety of our user always our primary concern. Yeah.